The Devils demolished the Dolphins on Good Friday. We're here to dissect it. This is the Devil's Den. The map is back.
Ran onto it. Long kick inside forward 50. Cameron again with a strong mark.
Just great ball use there and finished off by the Tassie skipper in style. He was never going to miss.
Go under the pressure.
Siggins takes it out of the ruck and throws it on the boot. Outstanding!
Gray was in there in his return. Milne about to lay the tackle on Artemis. He got the ball away. Tassie looking for the first inside 50. The handball was from Hagan. Tight roping the boundary line. Doing it well was Cooney. He kept it in. Worked well with Fox. As they work this by hands, Leary should goal and does. Great start, the Devils, who worked that so well.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Devil's Den, the For Fans by Fans podcast, where we talk everything Tasmania Devils. We're also the official podcast of the Tasmania Devils supporters page on Facebook, and we are here after a very, very good Friday where the Devils were the successful team by a long way over the Frankston Dolphins, and we're here to dissect it. My name is JD. This is Fred. Fred, how you feeling after that, mate?
Well, mate, I predicted 15 points. I actually said 75, just in case, like, far out. I talk about blowing them out of the water.
They didn't see us coming. They honestly, apparently, a thumping like that at Frankston's home ground is just unheard of. We travelled interstate for the first time. We put on an absolute clinic, and mate, I'm looking forward to talking about it with you. Let's go.
Yeah, well.
Plays on quickly on the left. Here's the fast break. Down the outer side goes Cox Goodger. Has a bounce, could have another one. He can go all the way here. Brad Cox Goodger for a Smithies. What a run by Tasmania. What a finish. And the Tasmanian superstar delivers for the Devils.
Absolutely awesome. Frankston Dolphins, Kinetic Stadium, around 5,000 fans there, Fred. How did you see it?
Yeah, well, kudos to them showing up in their numbers, and apparently they do that pretty regularly too anyway. My cousin was at the game, and he was on the hill with all the riffraff, and he said that they were giving him a bit in that first quarter. So the first quarter, you saw us come out of the blocks firing, we were firing on all cylinders, doing really, really well, moving the ball, transition. You've seen in that first clip how quickly they were moving the ball, and they were just looking for each other, running for each other, putting that pressure on. But in that last part of this first quarter, it was very concerning for me. I saw a couple of, poorer efforts, so to speak. They probably wasn't defending as good as they'd like. And also saw a couple of players, I won't name them, I don't like calling people out, but their foot skills out of the back line was absolutely atrocious then. I was like, oh man, if we keep this up, we are going to get absolutely smacked. And we went into our shell a little bit in that last part of the first quarter. You notice how they were just chipping it around like Port Melbourne do, and they were trying to look for those holes, but it just wasn't coming for us. It's just not our game style, and that's what sort of let them back in the door, because they were a very good defensive team, well, for the first quarter and a bit. But, it really turned into a clinic after that. They were just reading the play better. They were flicking the ball around. They were coming on the outside and then switching it back into the middle and then straight down to the middle to the big guys. Siggins had a day out, and so did Dixon. I thought he was doing really well. I said I wanted to see him just clock a few marks. Yeah, he did really well, and I think that'll do good for his his momentum and his confidence as well. So that was a really good start to that. But I'll tell you what, man, that second half, they just come out and went bang, bang, bang. They were just, they had the battering ram at the door, just smashing that door down. The quick transition with the hand passing was a big notable for me. When they were getting in close, a flick, 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 and then out was the very, very, I'm going to sound like absolute nuffy then. It was very well put together, and they just knew where each other were, and they knew their voices, and it was a really amazing game to watch. 73 points, I think it was in the end. Yeah, like you said before, it's unheard of down at Frankston.
Crazy, man. 21-19, 145. Defeated Frankston 9-13-67. So it was actually 78 points in the end. And I think where we won it, the pressure was just off the charts. We won by 78 and also managed to win the tackles. How that happens, I have no idea. We had higher disposals, but more tackles. Frankston, they just didn't have an answer for the sheer amount of brute force we were putting on them. How did you see the pressure?
The pressure, I've to be quite honest, I haven't seen that sort of level of pressure by everyone for any team that I've ever seen, like AFL, VFL, local. It just was relentless. It just seemed when someone would get the ball, they would either be chasing them down, or they was already up their bum. So it was excellent to see that sort of pressure. When they didn't weren't near him, they were forcing him into these perceived mistakes that they thought, oh shit, I'm going to get tackled here, and they just put him under this perceived pressure, and they just crumbled under it. And thing I'd like to point out too, I don't think they're a very big team by the look of it. They haven't got very many tall blokes by the look of it. So I think we used our height to our advantage as well.
Absolutely. It seemed a couple of times, like you said, that perceived pressure. They would have a bit of space, but they would end up running into two or three of our players, just not knowing what to do and not knowing where to look. It was nuts. It was such a good game to watch from a Tassie perspective. Apparently a very, very hostile crowd. I read one message online that said that a lot of the players were copping a lot of verbal abuse from the sidelines. But you kind of got to expect that when you head to Frankston. That's what they're known for. It's that tribe mentality. And at the end of the day, best way to shut them up is to put it on the scoreboard.
How cheeky was it that the Devils took their mascot up to the opposition crowd? I was like, oh man, that's just. Did you see ballsy?
Did you see the picture of old Rumman standing with Flipper, the Frankston Dolphin?
Yes.
Their mascot looked like they'd been bought at the $2 shop. It was unreal.
Timmy special.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on now to our man of the match.
Before he had it, did Mapley, as did Artemis. Now they're on the burst. Through the middle goes Elmer. Kicks towards half forward. Siggins, too big and strong. Just shoved Grant out of the way like he wasn't even there. Sam Siggins has kicked 3 goals, 3 today. Couple of posters. Look at that. Who said it was hard to judge? He puts 2 hands to his ear and says, "Good night, dollies."
Good night.
Now,
Dollies.
Good night, dollies. We actually disagree on who was the man of the match this week, Fred. I went with Sam Siggins, who had 9 disposals, 4 goals, 3 behinds, and 7 marks, and was just too strong for his defender at all times. There was a bit of a swirling breeze coming off the beach there at Kinetic, but once he worked it out, he was absolutely nailing them. How did you see Sam's game?
Yeah, he was really good. He got the service though as well. He couldn't have played as well what he did without the service of it coming in. You just saw that play then with Artemis coming up on the wing and just put it on his head and put it on his side. He knew that he could outbody him, and just that's all she wrote. It was almost easy pickings for Sam Siggins this game, and now that they don't play for a while, he can have a bit of a rest because he's an older fella, and hopefully he can do it again in the next game.
Absolutely. It is a shame that we don't play again till Anzac Day, which is almost 3 weeks away.
22 days, I think they don't play till.
Yeah, crazy. I don't know how that happened. Obviously, we have a bye next week, and then it's probably the Victoria the Victoria State match. I think the VFL play against the Waffle or something like that the week after. So 2 weeks off for the Devils now. Mate,
Yep.
you had someone else as your man of the match?
Yeah, I did. There's no clip? Or do you just give
I haven't
yourself
got a
the
clue. I
fancy
couldn't
picks?
find. I wish I could find his goal. I
Oh.
couldn't find it.
That's all right. I had Jye Menzie as my guy. He's my guy. I'm not being biased on this one. We talked about last week that if we wanted to see him to be classed as an elite talent in the VFL, he has to get over 26 posies, and he'd done that very, very well. He was everywhere. He was still a leader out there despite Robbie Fox being back, which was excellent to see him back as well. But Jye was really opening the game up with his run, his pace, his stoppages, and clearances. He played really, really well, and I couldn't be more happier to see him go like that. But I'm sure some AFL team was happy to see him like that as well.
Absolutely. He just seemed to be everywhere. What was it? 29 touches. I've got his stats here. 29 touches, 12 marks, 4 tackles. He was just, you couldn't go anywhere without Jye Menzie popping up. Like you said, we said that like last week, he probably had a best on ground performance with his 4 goals, but he only had the 13 touches. Mate, you called it. You put the call out on him to fix up his possessions and get them up over the 20-25 mark, and he delivered in absolute spades. He looked great.
Yeah, he's that talent. He has to have that level of possession and impact on a game because he's played in the AFL system. He's still young. He's still very young.
Yep.
And he's got a really good opportunity to really solidify himself as a good player and a leader and a person that a team can rely on to get him a few posies and get other people into other positions as well.
Someone who is not that young, but I thought had a massive, massive impact on the game was Brad Cox-Goodyear. 20 disposals, 3 clearances, 7 marks. But I just felt like this game, I don't know if you noticed, mate, I felt like he was more important than the stat sheet probably suggested. The amount of opportunities he created, the way he took the game on. I remember early in the season we talked about Zach Adams being the kind of guy that makes his teammates look better around him. I reckon we can put Brad Cox-Goodyear in that category as well. He was absolutely outstanding. And like I said, just created so many opportunities that turned into goals. How did you see BCG's game?
Yeah, he was really good too. I thought that his leadership around the ball, you could sort of see him get involved a bit more in the stoppages and using his strength to our advantage because he's a nugget of a man. He's quite big, strong fella. He puts himself in places where he has to be. Like he's probably not the quickest bloke on the park, but when they play that level of defence the way they do and the way they set up behind the ball, he's always in and about it. So that's a really good asset, and he just knows where to be. He's like some of those younger kids that are playing with him now are going to benefit hugely of Brad being in the team. I think he's amazing.
Yeah, he's an absolute ripper. We love having him there. Like you said, that leadership is just so invaluable. We're such a young side. To have these old heads, the Sam Siggins, the Brad Cox-Goodyear, some AFL experience like Caleb Mitchell, Menzie, and obviously Robbie Fox, I think he's probably proven the difference this year. And it's probably something that Frankston didn't have, and that was someone to really take the game by the scruff of the neck and wrestle it back onto their terms. They ended up, just capitulating, to be honest.
Yeah, not to be mean to Frankston at all. The only thing I'm saying is that they didn't have the talent we did. We've got the talent. We've got quite fresh out of the AFL type players and experienced VFL players that are, come home. And obviously, when you're happy, you play better footy, don't you? You don't play very good footy when you're not happy not being at your own home. So I think that's made a huge difference to some of the boys as well.
Yep, absolutely. I tell you, one player who looked very at home at the level this week is our player we have for Under the Radar.
You want to sum up the dominance, 66 inside 50s to 36 in favour of Tasmania.
Siggins on it down. There's Hay. That's number 4. Very smart to stay on the scene and be aware of where that ball was falling. Good finish.
Lovely.
Lachy Hay was absolutely explosive. 4 goals, 1 behind. Mate, the opportunistic nature of the goals as well. He just was in the right place at the right time. A few play-ons from free kicks that went through. But even around the ground, he looked polished and clean. And we put the call out last week. We actually called for him to be dropped. He obviously is a big listener of the podcast, and he heard what we were saying, and he came out and he kicked 4 goals, and he looked every player, the player we thought he was going to be in the preseason. How did you see Locky's game?
Yeah, like you said, massively that word you said, opportunistic.
Yep. Opportunistic.
But the thing is too, though, like he's actually, like, you can tell his forward craft as a small forward is right up there. Like he knows where to be when Sam and Big Dicko up forward. Like he just gets in the right spots and he does. The thing is, the best thing about him too, I've seen a couple of times when the ball came to ground, he ran through, even though he missed it, he still ran at that pace trying to get it, because if you stop, you're going to get tackled. So he sort of would try and get it, run straight through, and then sort of come back around to get himself into another position. That is incredibly smart football. So we've put the call out to him, and if you watch us or listen to us, Lochy, we apologise, but if you can do that again, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. We were calling for Josh Wolf to come into the side after kicking 6 goals for North Hobart a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think that's going to happen if Lochy keeps playing that way. And it was just a plethora of small forwards. Jed Hagan had another great game.
Excellent game.
Harry Elmer dobbed a couple. He's not a small forward, but those medium type players that were just buzzing around, hungry for goals. Daniel Cooney kicked one at the end. We're honestly looking unstoppable, mate. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We've got some big games coming up, including our next one, which is against Carlton, our first ever game against an AFL affiliated team. But we've got some. We are going to be a handful, and we were sitting on top of the ladder after this game. I don't think that's probably the case now, but we're definitely entrenched in the top 3.
Yeah. I just want to bring a couple of players to attention as well that probably not going to get our votes in that, or things that I noticed, right? So Kai Cameron, your guy, his marking prowess for a mid-sized player, wow. He has got a sticky set of mitts. That was so good, and I actually wrote down on my notes here, I was like, Cameron, marking power, awesome. So, that's really handy, especially if just say if Siggins and Hugh are getting tied up and he's got that ability to lead out and leap at the ball like that. That's just an amazing thing to see. I'd like to point out about Mapley as well. My God, like he didn't win, he didn't win the tap outs, but he did get the ball to us a fair bit. But the pressure, the running, the tackling, the ball skill, the kid can kick the bloody ball. Like ruckmans don't kick like that. It's just insane how he kicks the ball. He's got a really nice technique.
He really is.
Oh, absolutely. He's like the remember when Richmond put Grick or whatever his name, Garrick, in the middle. That's
right.
They just used him as another on baller, and it works. So Mapley, oh mate, like he's surely someone's looking at him and three out of three good games for a young fella like that. That's just bloody good to see. He played really well.
Can't argue with that. All right. It is time. Now, those two guys probably won't feature in our next section, but it is time to have a look at the votes. Let me just bring them up. What have we got here? That one there. All right.
Hey.
Now, what I love about these votes, Fred, is we can watch a game and have two completely different opinions on who was dominating, and I think the spread of players we've got in this one is a really, really good, really good example of how many good players we had this week. Do you want to take us through your votes?
Yep. So 5 votes. Jye Menzie, unreal. We already talked about it. Excellent game by him. 4 was Lachy Hay for me. I just found him to be very impactful. Like if we were in a little bit of trouble, he was like pulling us out of the shit every now and then. We're up in the forward line with his pressure, his tackling, he's even his marking for a smaller sort of forwards, bloody good. Sam Siggins, we've already talked about him. He was amazing, strong, cool head under pressure and done his thing. I had Jed Hagen. He played a really good game. I think he sort of flew under the radar for a lot of people because I thought he played a awesome game. Like the way I saw it and the way I seen him play, I was like, wow, he's tearing it up. But like I said, it's when everyone has their bias towards their players and things like that. But if you see the game the way you'd like the game to be played, you kind of see the other players, if you know what I mean. So anyone out there that thinks a little bit of different than us, I'd like to hear about it because I'd like to hear about everyone's point of view. So anyway, last vote number one, or one vote to Robbie Fox. So Robbie didn't have a whole bunch of possessions, but he was such a calming influence out there. He was composed when he got the ball. He fed it to the ball users. I think his efficiency was up around the 90s, which is what you should expect from someone of Robbie's caliber. So they're my votes for this week. I'm interested to see yours.
Absolutely. So I actually had Sam Siggins as my 5. Brad Cox-Goodyear, we've talked in length about both of those guys already on the podcast. Lachy Hay, just dominant. His performance reminded me a little bit of Bobby Hill in the 2023 grand final. Was just in the right place at the right time, and 4 goals from a small half forward flanker is just elite. Jye Menzie, I honestly, I've got him quite low at 2 votes. I didn't realise how well he'd gone till I actually had a look at the stats and saw he had, 29 disposals and a goal and, something like 140 AFL fantasy points. I hope people are following along on the fantasy points this year, because if some of these guys get picked up, they are absolute smokies to change the trajectory of your fantasy team. And as you said, 1 vote to Robbie Fox, who just looked a class above everyone, especially his first and second quarters. He was just he's got that Pendlebury effect, doesn't he, where everyone seemed to slow down around him. He just seemed to have more space than everyone on the ground. So apologies to Jed Hagen, who did, like you said, I didn't realise how good a game he had until I looked at his stats. 2 goals, 19 disposals. He was excellent, but I couldn't squeeze him in. Yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of others that could have got one or 2 votes. Like I said, Mapley was excellent, but Robbie Fox's leadership and his cool head sort of, attracted me to give him that last vote. And even Leary was playing really well. We had Artemis off the half back until he blew out his hamstring. He was playing awesome. Like, he was all over the place. And even Zach Adams got banged around a little bit, but he played really well. He played excellent too. So, like, you could chuck a big blanket over the players that played well. It was a really, really excellent team effort, as it used to say in the Human News paper when they could pick the best players.
Old Human News. Actually featured in that a couple of times. Did all right playing for Signet. All right, to our leaderboard, and Jye Menzie's taken an early lead for the MVP this week. Jed Hagan following closely with 12, Sam Siggins with 8. Lachy Hay, after one game where he's played well, has jumped up into fourth spot with 7 votes. And then we've got the pack a little bit. Zach Adams and Jackson Adams on 6, Nick Williams, Max Mapley and Hugh Dixon on 5, Max Roney, Brad Cox-Goodyear, Caleb Mitchell on 4, and then your boy, Joe Chaplin on 3.
Joe, hit me up. I want to talk to you, mate. Love the way you play.
Absolutely. He's
awesome.
he's a ripper. I didn't realise he actually played. He actually played for Geelong's VFL side last year.
I didn't know that.
He's got a bit of VFL experience. All right. If we have a look at the injuries now, we did have a couple. Well, one major injury. I haven't heard how bad it is, but watching the footage on the game, it was clear that Jackson Artemis's hamstring just exploded into a million pieces. He was in a bad way coming off the ground. I think it was in the third quarter. Did you notice that one, mate? How did you see it?
Yeah, well, it looks like there was someone in the stands with a rifle and just shot him in the leg. He pulled up really quickly. He looked like they flashed to him really quickly in the broadcast, and you could see that he was in a lot of discomfort. And when you've done a hammy, and you've done it pretty good, you really do feel. You do feel the tear. It's a bloody awful feeling, and it does throb. It bloody throbs too when you do it. Yeah,
right.
And depending how high up to, I'd like to know how high up it is, because the higher up to your bum cheek it is, that's more in the tendon area. So the tendon can tear off the buttock. So it can be really, really problematic after that, and you can never really get yourself going 100%, even though like you've had 5 weeks of nothing, and then you think you're back into it, but you lose that like power sometimes just because of that sort of injury. But hopefully it's just a normal, like, it's a really weird thing to say, but hopefully it's just a normal hamstring, mid to low. Just, a slight tear or even a strain. You don't know. He probably just strained it and it was really painful, but wish him all the best, and we really want to see him back, because we've got two fans in this podcast, that's for sure.
100%. We love Jackson Artemis, so speedy recovery, Jackson. I'm sure the 2 weeks off that you've got, or 3 weeks off you got before the next game, who knows, if it's only a small to medium injury, he might even be back for the Anzac Day clash against Carlton.
Be interesting to see who they bring in to cover him too.
My mate Bickies.
Oh, it could be Bickies. Yes,
Bickies might get a game. My mate Nelson Bykoff Smart been playing for Geelong. He played with Gary Ablett a couple of weeks ago. I noticed. So I think we've got a couple of halfbacks ready and waiting. We've also got Max Roney to come back from his shoulder injury as well.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, he'd be handy.
Yeah. All right, mate, that is just about all we've got time for this week. Make sure you remember to hit subscribe. We are in the 120s with our goal to hit 150 by the round 9 bye. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll help us out heaps. Anything from you, mate?
Yeah, let's go to Devils. A couple of weeks' time, I'm going to be at the game. I've got my memberships and all that. I'll be wearing this wonderful, beautiful thing. And if you'll
be at the Anzac Day game?
Yeah, absolutely. If you do spot me, come and say hello. I'd like to meet some of our listeners and hear a bit of feedback or some talking about how good they were back in the day or whatever. So it'd be good to hear. Yeah. So, that's a bit from me.
Absolutely. Well, always remember, Devils fans, the map is back.
We're the Devils, heroes.